Good morning. Happy Thursday. We are a week away from Thanksgiving, and I'm sure we're all gearing up for the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. Well, we're out here this morning getting ready to gear up for another day, and I want to share with you a devotion that God laid on my heart just last night in a situation that happened with me and my son. Let me share with you this verse first of all. 1 Timothy 4, verse 12. Let no man despise your youth, but be an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, and in purity. There are 6 areas there that we are to be an example to other believers and to other people. We must understand that somebody is always looking to us to be an example. When it comes to my kids, I can teach them, but if the best teaching model I can do is to model what I am teaching to my kids. There's an old adage that people say, do as I say, but don't do as I do. That is wrong. As parents, as leaders, as believers, if we say what we believe and we are teaching others what we are believing, we must model it and we must live it amongst others, because the best way to reinforce what we're teaching is that modeling it in our behavior. I say that to say this. Last night, my family was eating dinner after church, which is a little late, I know, but we were talking, and my daughter and my son were just discussing. They're being brother and sister, and my son, Liam, he was telling my daughter Ella he was literally spitting out my sermon from Sunday morning to my daughter. And I was talking about the idea of control and how we have a clenched fist when we're trying to hold on to something, and we got to let it go for God's blessing. And I was watching my son do that illustration to my daughter, and it just hit me. My 7-year-old son sat there and listened to what I was preaching on. And I thought the whole time he was there playing with his Legos, but he was listening. And it reminded me, as his father, I have got to be the same person outside the pulpit, outside the church, to my kids as I am there. They must see Daddy and Pastor Dean must line up. That was a reminder to me that my son and my daughter are listening to everything I'm doing and watching me. That's just my kids. And I thought about other people. When you're in a position, when you're leading others, or even when you're just being a witness to others, people are looking to you, and they're always looking for that example. Now, we're not always going to get right, because we're always going to mess up. We're human. But we ought to be striving to be disciples of Christ, to be modeling Christ in our actions and in these areas, in our words, in our conversation, in our love, in our spirit, and faith, and purity. What a challenge. What an example today. Here's the challenge. Here's the devotion I want to leave with you today before I get off here and get with my day. Everywhere you go today, strive to be an example of Christ in the words you say, in the conversations you have, in your love, in your attitude, your purity, your faith. Think about that verse, 1 Timothy 4:2. Have a blessed day. May the Lord bless you today.